Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of A Moment of Joy. I am Joy Stevens, your host, and today I'm going to tell you a story. I mean, I always tell you stories, but this one is funny. So, picture this. 19 blah blah blah, you don't need to know, when I was in college, but I was a freshman at Spelman College, and I was talking to a young man who was a junior at Morehouse College. And he was giving me his version of understanding of vulnerability. And the conversation was around being vulnerable with each other. So he was telling me that in order to really know someone, in order to really get to understand the nature of a person, to see into their soul, you had to be able to see them without any of society's constrictions. You had to be unfettered. You had to be able to see them as they truly were, with no filters, no covering, no anything, just the raw, unfiltered, naked version of who they were. And so that's why we needed to get naked. What? So at that moment, I realized I didn't need to be there. And this conversation was over. But I never forgot it. And I've told that story to girls going into college time and again. Beware the guy that tells you you need to get naked so that he can get to know you, because you don't. However, the idea of being vulnerable, now that's a good idea. You can learn something from anyone, even a guy who's trying to get you out of your clothes. And the idea that you don't really know who someone is until you've been vulnerable with them, with your clothes on, of course. But that's a real good concept. You don't really know someone until you've seen them at their worst. Everyone is good when their representative is holding it down for them, when they're at their best, when they're prepared, when they're ready, when they've studied, etc. But when they're unprepared, caught off guard, unsuspecting, vulnerable, that's when you can see who they really are. It's one of the reasons that people tend to bond through traumatic experiences, because they've met each other at a low point. I'm not saying that trauma bonding is a way to form a relationship and have it be healthy. I'm saying that's part of the reason why it happens. I've seen you at your worst, and I'm good with it. And so think about how we can be vulnerable in our workspaces. Please don't go to work naked. That will get you fired in most places. But can you let somebody in? Can you give them a glimpse of who you are behind the filters, behind the masks? Can you show them the real you? That's what being authentic means. That's what being vulnerable means. And this message is more so for the leaders who have built up so many walls around themselves in order to protect that core, in order to be whoever they need to be for the company, for their team, etc., the shoulders upon which an empire is built. Sometimes you gotta shrug it off. Sometimes you need to get a little naked, proverbially, in order for people to know you. Show them who you really are. Show them that sensitive side, that show them the vulnerable underbelly of yourself, if you will. Give them the chance to hurt you and see what they do with it. That's how you build trust as well. It's called vulnerable trust. You can always trust somebody to do the same thing they've always done, but when you're being at your worst, or they're being at their worst, and it's a vulnerable moment, then you see who they really are. Then you can get metaphorically naked with them. And so I challenge you to do this at the appropriate time in your workspace. Give someone a chance to see you for who you really are and see what they do with it, and then build that relationship, or learn that that relationship needs more work than you thought. Okay? So have fun with my little naked story, and I will see you all next time. Take care.